For 3 seasons, we've been asking all the questions. How do they escape? What are the monsters? Now, who is the man in yellow? But From has been screaming an answer at us since episode 1. The show is not about monsters. It's not about a cursed town. It's not even about how to escape. From is about one thing. Their parents broke them. And unless they do something about it, they're going to also break their kids. That's the show. That's the secret. And today I'm going to prove it with evidence so overwhelming you will never watch the show the same way again. Every character is defined by broken parent-child relationships. And let me show you the pattern. A boy sacrificed his wife right in front of his son Ellis. And Ellis was not able to forgive him for months. They had a broken father-son pattern in the first season. Jim was emotionally absent during Thomas' death, and he was repeating the exact same pattern with Ethan and Julie. Julie even told him that
Thomas died, you and Mom fell apart, and there was no one there for Ethan.
Then Tabitha. As we know, Tabitha is the reincarnation of Miranda, which means Tabitha has failed children across multiple lifetimes, and in this lifetime, lost a son Thomas. Then Victor, abandoned by his father for 40 years. He's emotionally frozen at age 10, is still drawing with crayons, is still hiding from the pain. Then we have Julie, who rebels against her mother and father. She in a way is already repeating Tabitha's pattern of emotional distance, and we have seen this since season 1. Then we have Kenny, his father dies, killed by the monsters, was left with his mother, only to her being killed also by the monsters. Then we have Ellis, who joins Colony House. At the beginning of season 1, we can see how he has a tension with his father. From season 1 to season 3, we see this relationship change. Then Jade, reincarnation of Christopher, who went insane and failed his mission, literally haunted by his own past life failure. Even Fatima gives birth to a monster, the literal ultimate parenting nightmare. So we can see this is not a coincidence, and this is not random backstory. This is the structure of the show. Every single person in Fromville is trapped by unresolved trauma from their parents, or unresolved guilt toward their children, or both. But why? So we have season 1, episode 1, where we see a father and a son playing chess. So for 3 years we thought this was just creepy atmosphere, foreshadowing the horror. We were wrong. This scene is a blueprint. The writers putting the entire mythology on the table in the first 5 minutes. Here's why. Chess is a game between 2 players, white versus black, and in From we have 2 players, the man in yellow and the boy in white. One has white in the name, so we can see how chess requires sacrifice. You sacrifice pawns to protect your king. You sacrifice pieces to gain position. The goal is to trap the opponent's king in checkmate. That's exactly what's happening in From. The man in yellow is the king. The boy in white is trying to checkmate him, but he cannot do it alone. He needs pieces. He needs to help. This is why we see him in the lighthouse. He wants the characters to remember, and the pieces are the residents: Boy, Tabitha, Jade, Victor, and Julie. They're all pieces on the board, being moved, being sacrificed, all in service of this cosmic chess match between a father and his son. Because here's the twist: the man in yellow and the boy in white are not enemies. My theory, and the way I see it, they're a father and a son. The boy in white is the rebel son trying to beat his father at his own game, and every father-son relationship in the show mirrors this. Boyd and Alice, father hurts son rebels, not forgive, but forgives later. Jim and Ethan, father to focus on solving the puzzle, son later connects with father. Victor and Henry, son. Victor was left for 40 years. When they reunite, it's painful, incomplete. However, by the end of season 3, we see how they connect. The entire show is about sons trying to break free from their father's sins, and fathers trying not to repeat their father's mistakes, and failing over and over again. The pattern repeats, the game continues. And the only way to win is something the father will never do. Make a move he never expects. Sacrifice yourself for your child, not your child for yourself. That's what we see with Jim by the end of season 3. That's the checkmate. Because season 3 gave us the mythology. The curse began with the parents sacrificed their own children in exchange for immortality. They made a deal with the man in yellow. This is my theory. He promised eternal life. All they had to do was sacrifice their kids. Those parents accepted. They gave their own children, laid them on the stones, told them stories as they died. The entity kept his promise. Those parents became immortal, but the immortality was a curse. They became the monsters, trapped forever in their moment of ultimate betrayal. The children became the Anghkooey, ghost children, begging to be remembered. And that's the mythology. But here's what the show is really saying. That original sin is not ancient history. It's not some faraway fairy tale. It's happening right now. In every family, in every generation. Back then, parents choose power and mortality over their children's lives. It was little sacrifice on stone altars. But now, we can see how it changed in real life. Parent choosing career to provide for their children, and that sacrifice. Parent choosing comfort over being there for their children, and that sacrifice. A father who works 70 hours a week and miss every recital and event, that sacrifice. The monsters are not just evil patterns from the past, they're a metaphor. Every parent who made the same deal the original parents made, maybe not with a supernatural entity, but with their job, their addiction, their pride, their unprocessed trauma. The Man in Yellow offered them a deal: sacrifice your children's well-being and you get what you want. And they took it. And here's the really dark part: the characters are in danger of doing it too. Because that's how generational trauma works. They say they will never be like them, and then one day they catch them saying the exact same thing their father said, doing the exact thing the mother did. So this metaphor is connecting to the show in an incredible way, because for 3 seasons, the ghost children chanted one word, Anghkooey. Season 3 finally gave us the answer. It means remember. But remember what? Not the plot, not the lore, not the timeline. Remember what was done to them. Remember the trauma. Remember the childhood. Remember what the parents did, so they don't do it over and over again. That's what the children are begging for. This is literally how it works. The old man heard the father. The father swore never to do it again. But the father's rage come from somewhere. From learning the pain is how it solves problems. So the Anghkooey children are not monsters, they're not threats, they're victims, and they're begging the adults to remember what it felt to be them, to be at the mercy of people who were supposed to protect them. Remember what they did, remember, so the cycle finally ends. So once we understand from that it's about generational trauma, every supernatural element clicks into place. The monsters come at night, when they're alone with their thoughts, when the distractions are gone, when the intrusive thoughts come. It looks like people they know, because trauma, worst family faces, cannot be killed permanently. Boyd kills Smiley. He came back through Fatima, because you cannot kill trauma. It always comes back. The Talisman creates a space where the monsters cannot enter. This is like therapy. This is medication. This is every coping mechanism they have built to survive. But they don't fix a curse. They don't end the nightmare. They're still trapped in the town. That's coping, not healing. Healing will be leaving the town. Healing will be breaking the curse entirely. Then we have the boy in white. He guides people, gives cryptic clues, never forces anyone, cannot take control. In a way, he's the inner child, the part that was not corrupted by trauma. In a way, the innocent part that's still hope. He's trying to guide them towards healing, but he cannot make them heal. He cannot force them into therapy. Then we have the Man in Yellow, the author, the king, the one in control. He knows everyone's name before meeting them. He warns Jim. He kills Jim for learning too much. He says knowledge comes with a cost. This is the original Pain, the one who started the cycle of pain in the family. So here's the question we have been building towards. If From is about generational trauma, if the curse is a cycle of parents failing the children, how does it end? The solution is simple. Do the opposite of what the original parents did. The original parents chose themselves over their children. They wanted immortality. They wanted power. You sacrifice yourself to save them. That's the winning move. That's the checkmate. Because the curse is built on parental betrayal. So here's my prediction for how From ends. The Man in Yellow will offer the same deal he has always offered. But this time is different. They all chosen the opposite. And that's how From ends. Not with a clever trick. And the only way out, you have to remember, they have to face what was done to them. That's what the Anghkooey children are begging for. Remember, so you don't do it to your children. And if you don't, the curse continues. The monsters win, the cycle repeats.